Every cruiser needs a reliable dinghy. It's your car, your trailer, and your connection to shore. And there are loads of manufacturers all claiming to have made the best inflatable boat. We recently changed from our trusty Italian-made AB for a brand new Highfield 360. And it's been great so far, but that doesn't mean we can't make it even better. We have now got a brand new Highfield dinghy. We actually won it from the International Cruises Awards. It is now on board here on Indioko, and we are so excited. It is a really, really cool addition to our boat. However, we have got a few ideas, a little upgrade we want to do, some additions we want to make. But by the end of this process, I think we are going to have the coolest looking dinghy out there.
First and foremost, our davits, which we designed years ago now, with the help of Sing, they were made for the AB, for link. So therefore, where the lines come down here and at the back to hang the dinghy, they're spaced to match the AB, not the Highfield. So we might have to adjust where these are coming down from. We'll have a look at that. The other thing that's kind of interesting is, like the AB, Highfield have put welded lift points down in the floor there for the davit lines. So we have this little A-frame shape of line that we put on ages ago. We've moved it over to the Highfield, and it basically acts as a single point to lift all the way up to the davit, so to store the dinghy. It's great at the front. I think we'll get away with it as we've designed it. However, at the back, it's a bit interesting because they've got this transom reinforcement here, and the A-frame, if you want to call it that, is anchored outside of it, which is good for stability, but it's not so good because it means that the line is actually bending over that transom reinforcement, which I just worry is going to cause chafe. It's probably not great for the transom either, because those structures are not made to be bent sideways. So we're going to try and come up with some new anchor points, hopefully not totally destroying the dinghy in the process.
So to get access to where we're going to drill these holes, we need to take the seat away, remove the cushion, and sort out the battery and everything. We are going to figure that out later, but we'll do that afterwards.
So now that we've got our holes marked up, we're going to use these things. So they're stainless steel, but they have got some plastic protection on them. Unfortunately, the back and the bolts are stainless. So once we've drilled through this aluminium, we're going to have to, for now, I'm going to coat it in Tef gel, which is like a paste that isolates two different types of metals nicely. I'll probably end up putting another plastic piece, maybe we'll 3D print something actually.
Oh yeah.
And I'll just protect this metal back plate. And the idea being, if all goes correctly, we'll make some very nice, neat holes. And these guys will end up mounted bang in the middle there. And that creates our new tie point. And this red line will move up and tie off to there, straight up, and the same on the other side, and we can make our A-frame.
And this is the scary moment of no return when we're about to wreck the brand new thing that we own and really hope it pays off. Not helped by today's swell.
I know, why are we doing this? It's swelly. We're drilling holes in a brand new Highfield dinghy.
And yesterday was perfect. It was like mirror flat when we got here.
This is just a bad idea.
Yeah, but we're gonna do it anyway.
Shall we let this wake from this speedboat go by first? I'm just gonna point something out. This is a classic example of doing boat work in paradise. Have you looked over there?
I know, right? Beautiful. I mean, kind of cloudy today, but beautiful. All
right. I'm sorry.
We did it! We did it! We made a hole! Oh no!
And that was the last small drill bit we owned.
See, we did plan to do this properly. Start with a little skinny drill bit and work up. But then when it breaks and you don't have any more, it's like, well, we're not going to stop now. So we're just going to keep going and see what happens.
Way easier when you drill the small hole first. That one, the gauges, that one went through like butter.
Like butter.
Like butter. To be sensible, we'll go one more. Luckily, we have one more.
There, all done. That's the painful bit over with.
It's like going to the dentist. Your turn.
And now this is the messy bit, which is usually when we swap over, but for some reason we're not going to do that today. And Ian's going to take on the neat, crafty job. And it's not even going to have glitter on it by the end. Come on now.
So the game is not getting this all over my hands and face, but actually get some on here. and they give
Good
you
luck with that.
They give you a little chimney sweep brush to try and put it on, which is quite fun.
It's like a mascara brush. That helps.
I'm going to try and not get it on my face and hands. Squidge.
Beautiful.
Yeah. Oh, which way around did you want the writing?
Well, that way now.
All right.
That's the first one, so we'll do the other one the same.
That's fine. Okay. This one is going to get messy. There's no avoiding this part. Just completely cake it. Had an accident. When you put half a tub on one small fixing, I guess it goes everywhere. You know?
Oh, maybe that's why they say don't put, loads on.
Copious amounts. Okay, and these guys just need to go blindly on the back.
And like every good boat job, it gets really fiddly at the end. So we have like the smallest spanner that you have to fit into the smallest space.
It's like there's a gap and the bolt is in there, so I'm going to kind of go in sideways and twist it in a funny way. It
and
works.
you can't see what you're doing at the same time.
Not
It's
a clue
great.
what I'm doing.
Okay, well, Ian is finishing that job. I'm going to get started on the next one, which is finding a place for our battery. In the old dinghy, that lived in the bow locker. You couldn't see it. It was all very neat and tidy. But in the new dinghy, we have put our fuel tank in there. It didn't fit in the AB. They needed a specific design that we didn't have. But in this Highfield, it fits in there. So that is great. It is more protected. But it means that now we have the battery sort of loose around sitting in the, I don't know, do you call it a cockpit in the dinghy? Anyway, the bench seat that comes with the dinghy has this cushion and the sort of bag thing that hangs underneath it. And we reckon we can fit the battery inside, but I need to cut a little hole out the back for the cables to come out super neatly so that we can do the zip up at the end. So that is what I am working on. So this is the back of the pocket. This is roughly where the cables from the battery are going to come out. So I have just cut this little kind of window thing. I will slice a little hole in the fabric, and this will just go over to keep the edges from fraying, and it means that the cables will just pop out there, and we should hopefully hardly be able to see it because it's all going to be sort of tucked away behind everything.
All right, so I have just a small electrical challenge on the dinghy, but that's no big deal. What I'm really interested in is how you're getting on. Are you winning?
I am. I have finished my little window hole. It's not the neatest, but it'll do.
Window hole.
That's what I'm calling it.
Technical term.
And then I saw that you weren't done, so I'm making a little flap to go on the top so that just in case any rain might get on the cables or go in the hole inside here, this little flap is going to go on the top just to keep the weather out.
You're making a roof.
I'm making a roof.
Or indeed a window. You're making the glass window
shutters.
part.
Shutters.
Shutters
So that's just
for the
going to
window.
go there.
That's pretty cool.
And then it'll just come out the bottom, and then it'll all be lovely. I'm quite enjoying the fact that we just happen to have exactly the same colour of fabric.
How much of that fabric do we have left? Because it's gone a long way.
It has gone a long way. We bought it like 3 years ago in the Caribbean, and when I'm only using pieces this size, it tends to
It keeps
last quite
going.
a while. I'm also quite impressed that the sewing machine is still working because about 5 minutes ago, a ferry went past and the swell, the wake was like probably the biggest we've ever seen it, but it was dead side onto the boat. And the camera fell over, this fell over, it actually ripped a hole in the seat. This lever was all bent, so I've had to take it all apart and fix everything, but it's mostly working.
Yeah, I was sat in the dinghy when this ferry went past and just Bryce shouted out, "Wake!" I looked over, and basically by the time I realised there would be no way for me to get from the dinghy back into Indy because Indy was just flying around. So you were kind of left entirely to your own devices.
It was just like, I ran inside because I was out looking at the sea. And
As you do. I was like just staring at the sea, wistfully dreaming.
Well, the tripod was here, so I sort of got one hand to the camera and saved it, but then everything else around us fell to the floor, and I was sort of left trying to hold the sewing machine. It fell to the bench, but not to the floor. My phone fell off the side again, but at least it didn't fall in the
break
sea.
another phone?
No, it's still working, look.
We
See?
cannot afford phones to break. We're losing an awful lot of technology at the moment. We're losing a lot of things just breaking around about us. But that was probably one of the most, you know those videos on YouTube of like dad saves where they're not watching and they're on their phone, but they just put one hand out and grab a kid by the ankle as they fall off the seat.
It could have looked really good
It
if
would
the
have been one of
camera
those.
had been rolling.
If it had worked, but then it didn't. It just all fell over and broke.
Oh yeah, you're supposed to catch all the stuff.
Second stage, more important than the first.
All right, that is done. See how lovely and neat my little thatched roof is. So yeah, we can put it all in place and see if it actually lines up to where the cables need to go now.
That would be the next thing. If you put it in the wrong side of the seat or something. Going out the front instead of the back.
I was quite impressed that I didn't sew the two sides together, so I'm winning so far.
Did you make a mess of it? It looks a little bit grubby now. Briny.
That wasn't me.
Expect better of you.
The dinghy shrunk. There's no way I can get that in. It came out somehow.
The hair is in the water.
Oh no!
We could deflate the balloon.
Yeah, that's probably how we put it on in the first place.
Progress.
Yay! Success.
All right.
Nice. So this is the exciting bit.
So,
Testing out the little door, window, roof, whatever we're calling it. I mean, they fit, so that's a good start.
That is a good start. We didn't make the hole too small.
One hand.
It's a bit tight. And it's in. Okay.
Hey!
We'll secure that properly at some point.
Yeah. Okay, next up we are learning a lesson from a previous mistake and we are going to install a fuel filter. It looks quite beastly.
It is slightly beastly. So you can buy these in lots of different formats, but this one is called a Raycore. You might remember we have these down in the main engine base. And they're huge and usually very expensive, but we found them on Chinese eBay for like $30.
What could possibly go wrong?
And the best part is that inside, if this will come off, the good thing is that even though they're knockoff, like fake versions of the real thing, they use the same filters. So where you could buy, like, there's a newer version of this where you have like a petrol filter that's made of metal. These are still the old paper filters. So these are like 2-micron paper filters that cost nothing.
Yeah, so we're trying to future-proof.
Yeah, we're future-proofing. We're making it not only the cheapest housing we can find, but also the cheapest filters we can find. And then the sacrifice is it's like twice the size.
Yeah.
We have space. We'll make it work somehow, I think, maybe.
So I was just about to explain what this actually does while Ian assembles it in the background. And well, I think we've discovered why it was so cheap.
They may not have shipped us all the correct components to assemble it. So the way this is supposed to operate, it's supposed to have like an input and an output, and you kind of build this kind of weird bolt assembly thing.
Yeah.
And then I chuckled and was like, oh, they gave us a spare bolt.
Oh, how kind of them to give us extra parts.
But that's because they've given us 3 of the bolts and only 1 of the actual like hose connections. So there's no way to get fuel in or out of this.
Oh no. Time to get creative.
Yeah. I'm going to go to the cabin of bad ideas and be back in a minute.
Okay, so the idea is that we add this into our fuel system in the dinghy. The petrol comes from the fuel tank up into this filter, and it filters out any bits that have got into the fuel, or it actually separates out the water as well. So it'll come up through this filter, catch any bits, spin the fuel around to kind of separate it from any water that is in there, and then it'll only take the clean fuel from there and actually give it to the outboard. So far, we've been lucky and we've not had any issues with dirty petrol. We have had issues with dirty diesel in our main tanks on the boat, and we do have a solution for that coming very soon. But this was the first step, and hopefully we'll figure something out and it'll just work fine.
Ta-da!
He's magic!
Sweet. Okay, save the day.
I've heard of boat yoga, but dinghy yoga is like something else entirely.
It's getting creative, isn't it?
Tiny spaces.
All right, can you hold that nut any direction you want using the Leatherman, and then I'll use the drill from this side.
I can't even see.
You can go straight down on it.
Beautifully done.
For such a small space.
So I don't feel I'm being the most helpful right now. It's such a tiny crammed space that Ian has now disconnected the fuel line, but is rather engaged because one hand is holding the end of the fuel line that comes from our fuel tank in the bow to stop our dinghy just filling up with petrol. And you look like you're doing a great job down there, attaching the line from the filter up to the engine. So, yay, I'm cheerleader.
Cheer more.
Yay, you can do it. I believe in you.
Come on. Okay. I'm gonna say that's enough. Oh, petrol.
Could I be of any assistance, darling?
What we do need to do is create a length of fuel line from this bulb thing to the incoming end.
Okay. Okay, my thumb is on the end of here.
Now I'm going to take my thumb off in a bit of an Indiana Jones maneuver, like rolling a golden statue out the way. We're going to put this hose on here and your thumb is going to become the plug.
Okay, so then I'm stuck and I can't go anywhere.
Yeah, until we get that plugged into the fuel filter.
Okay.
There's probably easier ways to do this that involve removing a fuel tank, but...
Let's try it.
All right, ready?
Yeah, that's going to be a really tight fit, I think.
Yeah. Okay, I'm
Oh,
on.
nice one.
I'm on. All right, you want me to take over?
Uh-huh.
Okay, ready?
3, 2, 1.
Nailed it.
Oh my goodness.
Get on there, come on, please. Don't put up a fight, just go.
That wasn't too bad at all.
It's not done yet, the bike clip's too small and I can't get it back on the hose. Get on. Okay. Petrol everywhere.
Beautiful.
I don't know if this will work, but in theory, opening this jar lid will mean that the fuel can get in, but it's already starting to drip into the basin there. If not, we'll prime it using the bulb.
Okay.
Let's see if it suddenly starts going. Ooh,
I heard a noise. I see drips. Yay!
There it goes.
Oh, it's going, it's going.
I was just going to have a look as well.
Oh no!
There. All right, we are sealed. That's good because it's lubricated the seal
floor.
of the gasket. Just the way we wanted it to. All
Just
right.
the way we wanted.
Nobody liked a cigarette.
That's absolutely what we intended. Look at that.
We have a fuel filtering system
Excellent.
and only a small bit of petrol overflow. It'll evaporate, so it's fine.
Very well done. So one other little upgrade that we want to make is to our chain. We used to have like just a cut off of our proper anchor chain, so like big, heavy, thick 10 mil stuff, massively overspec'd for what we need. And it's now got very, very rusty. So we're going to see if we can buy some new, smaller, daintier chain to keep everything looking all nice and new and shiny. So there is a little town over here where all the ferries come in, and there is a very small chandlery, but I think they do have some chain in stock. So we're going to head in there and see what they have. It's so interesting. We're still getting used to like how this dinghy rides, and it sort of feels maybe flatter on the water, but you get these like massive cattails of wake coming off the side. Well, it doesn't make bigger wake, but the splash is there just as we're going through the water. We haven't got too wet yet.
It looks far more dramatic because you got this, like you say, it looks like a Batmobile with those wings coming off the back. It is a little bit splashy at times. Like I got a bit wet there, but I think that might more be to do with the wind blowing those tails up onto the boat.
True. That was lucky timing. It's always a bit of a gamble because we don't have a key for this marina, but we are allowed to use the dinghy dock, so you just have to hope that a car is arriving at around the same time so you can get out.
Or you just scramble down the side of the fence and hope no one sees you.
If we get back and there's nobody around for a while, you can sort of rock climb your way around the cliff and get back in, but we're probably not supposed to tell people that. Well, you're sorted.
I feel like it's a little bit heavy, but not that bad. I just feel like I need to be in some form of West Side Story right now.
Or like the beginning of Les Mis. Go on, sing to me.
Or that episode of The Office. Or is it Anchorman? Anchorman! We're going to turn up our chains and Brillo pads. Definitely raining over there.
Well, we beat the rain, but I'm not sure that we quite can stand by our statement of it being a really dry ride, and now I can see all the splashes on the lens as well. Got a bit soggy. But we're home!
Yeah, get the hatches, it's about to rain. Go, 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 go.
So this is our test for the hang points of the dinghy to see if it all hangs nice and flat and straight. We will attach everything and hit the button and see what happens.
It's quite windy.
Yeah.
We're in. All right, I'm gonna get the death trap. Let's see what happens.
It's lifting.
It appears to be working.
Hasn't fallen off yet.
I know we've mentioned it before, but a simple like ATV winch is all this is, and it just works so well.
And that dinghy is hanging nicely.
It is. It really worked.
Good job.
Forgot to tighten up the outboard before I left.
Oh yeah, that's why it's slightly squinty.
There you go, now it's square.
Beautiful. So there's a little marina here that we can come and tie up our dinghy in, but seeing a wreck just tied off to another boat, I absolutely love it. It's brilliant. It adds character to the place.
That's some talented docking right there.
It's like in Pirates of the Caribbean, in that opening clip when Jack Sparrow just like, the boat is sinking and he just walks off into the dock. Maybe that's exactly what happened.
That's what happened.
Maybe this is where they filmed it.